Okay, let's see. So I think we have probably a good group to start with right now. So we'll go ahead and jump in. And I'm going to ask Grandma D. Pedatsai.
So, they only get our attention on the God, no get 8 more hand, get town. They're going to go, oh, y'all go get all, get all, they only thought they go, yeah, and they on, God don't get high, so they be tired, so they go back higher on, go back town. God, go. The dog, the saddle dog, a hole, but how on they get tangled up, they on the and hide it up. They only go the on to town or get Tom. I want to get my augie, I can't pay the dogs out.
Oh.
Miss Marion, was that you wearing that red hat? It was really cute.
Oh, thank you.
Stylish.
Oh.
All the time. She's got some of the prettiest stylish clothes. It makes the best ribbon shirts I ever seen. Tailored.
Awesome. Let's see. Can everyone see my screen? Okay. So we want to first off start with Kiowa sounds and pronunciation practice. And then for our pedagogy discussion for today, we wanted to talk about some principles of Kiowa learning. And I'll be asking each of our elders who's on with us today to share some principles that they feel are important for Kiowas to learn. And then we'll talk about some language learning resources. And then at 8 o'clock, so in about 45 minutes, we'll open up our breakout rooms, and we'll have 4 breakout rooms for each session. So this room, the main room, will remain open, and then we'll have 3 breakout rooms that you can join. Since Dana's here, the Language Credentialing Board is available if anyone needs to complete their Kiowa credentialing evaluation. We'll have a breakout room to practice the sounds and pronunciation. And then we'll have, if anyone's interested in practicing family terms on Study Stack. And then here in the main room, we wanted to start working on a Kiowa prayer. And we wanted to look at the some Kiowa prayer phrases and look at that Kiowa prayer, Dambeide, that touch the earth. So the breakout rooms are optional, and that will take us up through 8:30. So that's the idea for today. Let me go up here. Okay, so for our focus session, I know that we have a couple new learners with us. And let me see really quick. Dane, would you like me to make you a co-host so you could open breakout rooms?
Oh.
Okay. And so we wanted to look at Kiowa sounds and pronunciation. Let me stop sharing. Okay. So first off, with sounds and pronunciation, there's a really awesome resource that Dane and the Language Board created that is a PowerPoint, and it's actually one of the components for credentialing or for getting credentialed. And so I thought it would be nice to kind of start with that and look at how to use that as a resource to practice pronouncing Kiowa sounds. So I'm wondering, Dane, if you'd be willing to show us where to find that sounds PowerPoint to do the overview of the sounds for level 1.
Oh, let me go ahead and go to my drive. And if you need to be added to my drive, let me know, because I can manually add you to our credentialing study material drive if you need to be on be on there. So let me see. Go ahead and share screen. And so I'm in my Google Drive right now. I got several different things I have on here, but there's the credentialing study material. There's a lot of things on here. I'm probably gonna end up resorting a lot of the stuff out again. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning it up after, during the months, all the way up and through November. But if you want to go in here first, if you do not have access to the credentialing study material, let me know. I'm going to go ahead and add you first. So if there's anybody in here that needs their email added to this, I can do that right now before we start.
And Dane, I think Donna put hers in the chat.
Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, so you should have it. Okay. So you should have access to it, and I'll say credentialing study material. So when we're going through here, we got the glossary, the help phrases, conversation, grammar, pronunciation, reading, and family charts. So we can go to pronunciation reading. So there's a level 1 and level 2. The level 2, we're still establishing exactly what that is. I know what it is. I got the idea of what it is now. But the level 1 is what most people we're starting off on. So if you're going to want to download the PowerPoint, and that's the main part of this. It does talk about, oh, and one thing you're going to want to do is, as I talk to most of my classes, let me see if this thing, my pull down menu keeps getting in the way, but y'all probably can't see it on y'all's end. I usually don't like to go to that. I usually like to right click this and download it all the way, because then you can interact with it. Let me go ahead and stop my share real quick so I can actually share the sound with you. Okay. So I have it downloaded down to my download folder. Now I got, if you don't have PowerPoint, if there's a way that you can actually get PowerPoint on there, that's the way you can actually access it and use it. If you don't, you can use somebody else's. So it is a six slide PowerPoint, and it goes over the base sounds that you need to know for Kiowa language. So it doesn't go through an alphabet and tell you how many letters it is. It just kind of skips all that and just tells you what vowels you have. So we got 10 vowels. Here's how they're spelled in this method, in the modified version of Parker McKenzie's orthography. So that's a little bit different than, if you're new to it, it's a little bit different than the original version, which is not actually the original version either, because he had earlier versions of it. But it'll have two examples, and oddly enough, I don't know why it's not letting me interact with it now. That is weird. I don't think I've ever had that happen before. But yeah, it's doing this thing. So sometimes that'll happen on here. Give me a second. Let me go ahead and pull up another version of this. Maybe I'll have to replace it because if it's doing this, then there must be something not updated on it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my other version.
Are you sharing your sound? Because I always
Uh,
forget.
The way it's clicking right now, even I can't hear it. There's something wrong with the download for it. So
Yeah, put you in
let's see.
your edit mode.
Okay. Let's see if it works now. Okay, this one should work. Okay, can y'all hear this? Hall. Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so it has two examples of words that do use this sound. They will say hall, and doll, and they got da and ma. And what you end up doing in there is you actually listen to these, and then you can actually record them. I guess the way that you do record these, everybody here has a camera, and everybody seems to have a microphone. So whenever you get into here, when you want to put your voice in there, you go to insert, you go to media, go to audio, and then record audio. And then I can just record anything. So I'm going to say what's in there. I'm going to say recorded sound, just so you can hear it play back. So recorded sound. So I push OK on that, and it gives me one of these. So say I just said hall, I can put it right there, and I can resize it and just put it there. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and play it. Recorded sound. Recorded sound. And I can just play it recorded as many times as I want to. But basically, I just got my voice in there. Again, you'll insert media, audio, and record sound. Now, there's a way, if you use YouTube or something, to look in there. I actually have a record up here. So I made it to where I just have a short key for it. I forgot how I did that, but I know that you can just look in YouTube and find a way to actually do that. But I kind of forgot how to do that right now. But anyway, you would put your voice in all of these. There's alternate ways to do it. You can use your phone, and you can say all of these. It's always best to kind of listen to the audios and follow after the audios so that you're getting, as accurate a sound as possible. So you revoice these. Your voice sounds with nasals. So you got the vowels: a, u, a, e, I, a, I, o, u, I, o, I. AUI. And then you got the same letters with the nasals. They are represented by the Inye in this version. And where you got on, ton, ta, thing, and so on and so forth. So you just revoice those. And for right now, we're just making sure that you're completing it, and then we can go later on. We'll go down the road, and we'll go ahead and correct anything that needs to be corrected later on. But for right now, we're just trying to make sure that you know how to do this, that you know how to work with this. Then you got the similar sounds. These are the things like your PB, P apostrophe, the GK or KH in some methods, TD, and things. They're just spelled a little bit different. They do got the strike through in this version. So this is like the PB. So you got ball, paw, and all. So all those have different sounds to them, and they do make a difference in how and what words you're actually saying. You go, call, and call. And you would do the same thing. You would just record your voice in these, and then we can kind of review it. But at least we got it in your file. That's what we're trying to get this in your file so that we can take a listen to it and give you feedback as you keep moving forward in this. If you start going to level 2, then we'll give you more feedback on it. And then you'll do it for other things too. We got other similar sounds part 2. We got nasals versus ends. In the Kiowa community, it seems like we have a little bit more handle on this than when I do my classes. So if I said sane versus sane, which is horse versus mud, sane, I notice in the Kiowa communities, even people who don't speak Kiowa but have been around Kiowa tend to differentiate those pretty well. In my classes, I have to tell a lot of people their ends are pretty lazy, so they're not as strong as you would say them in Kiowa. So sein, bone, tone, that's not normally how I say my ends in English. I'm actually emphasizing them because it comes out a lot clearer when I do. So anybody who's talking Kiowa, they can tell the difference between that and a nasal. Seems like in a regular English for people my age, we actually do something kind of in between that. So it makes it a little bit confusing sometimes when we're talking. Tali, Tali, and Tali. You've got the holds. Later on, there'll be more of these. I just can't think of any good examples of it right now. So, but there'll probably be a little bit more examples of these later on, especially probably after Christmas. This will change a little bit. Similar sounds like AUI and OI, where the AUI rhymes with boy, and the OI rhymes with snowy and showy. So that's some things we're trying to get there. Usually they'll mix those up and they'll make this sound too complicated when this is the one that's probably easier to say. You got all versus ah, which is easy to do, all and ah. From an English perspective, it's easy to do by itself, but once you start putting into words, if you're learning Kiowa from English, then sometimes people have a hard time saying something like doato and changing your mouth when you go from an AU to an A. So that's a really important one. That's why there's so many examples right here. Boda, appeared or came from over the hill, or appearing from somewhere like the sun, versus doll, which is tree, versus all doll, which is hair. Again, when you have the AUs, your mouth is more closed, all versus Again, it's easy to say by itself, but if you're not used to saying Kiowa words and you have it within the same word, people sometimes will have a hard time saying those sounds, and so they have to exercise those muscles there. So that's why you have stuff like that in there. Then you got commonly mispronounced words and phrases in 6 and 7. I'll give you an instance, and it does have an added part to it now that's not in the download at the moment. But it says pronounce like this and do not pronounce like this. So first we got getagya, and do not pronounce it like getagya. I know you hear probably people say it like that in the community, but it's getagya with the T apostrophe, not that softer taigya sound. So it's stuff that we kind of discussed, and these may change sometimes over time, or they may switch out to other things, kind of as we see is the highest need at the moment. So there's five words on here. You would just have to revoice the one on the left side and not voice the ones on the right side. Same thing with this. So gi, and it says don't pronounce like gi, ki, and ki, because that's all the three things that people will veer off into those things. And you see those sounds right here, blended G, G, K, K apostrophe. You see that comparison right here in this slide right here with G, blended G, K, K apostrophe. So you see it in two places. Some of these things kind of overlap, but these are just things that are commonly mispronounced in the community that we're just trying to focus on, so that when you hear people say it like that, that you can actually tell the difference, and that you don't fall into just saying it the way you heard it from somebody, but you actually try to say it to where it's understandable. Say, for instance, we got takoy. And as much as I try to get people around me to say takoy and not takoy, people will soften it out and they'll say ta instead of to. So two different sounds, and sometimes it's just hard because they don't want to say that T apostrophe sound. I think that's what it is they're afraid of that ejective all sound, but it's actually not that hard to make. Even all my Takoi students will eventually in Kiowa 2, they all end up having to say it, and they all say it right if we emphasize it. So so that's the pronunciation. That's for level 1. Level 2 does something a little bit different, but this is just the base stuff. That's where you find it. And if it doesn't work when you're downloading it, I will probably replace it with this one. And hopefully when you download it, you can actually listen to the audios there. I'm not sure what was going on there, but it wasn't working for me. So and I'll go ahead and add you to that one. So that's the audios for pronunciation.
Oh, thank you, Dane. Does anyone have any questions for Dane? Great, awesome.
And Brenda, I just added you to them, but I think you're already added there, but that's just going to send you a reminder so you know it, so you can go back and look back into it. So you already got access to it.
Oh, thank you.
And Dane, I think Lori put her email in the chat as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Okay, you should be getting a notification on that too, Lori.
Awesome. So in the breakout rooms, this here in a little bit, when at the top of the hour, when we open those up, if anyone wants to practice, downloading those recordings and listening to it together and practicing saying the sounds, there'll be a breakout room for that. All right. And we also have a request for a breakout room for nouns, pronouns, and verbs practice. So even though that's a topic we'll get to later on, but if any of you, have a request for a breakout room that you'd like to join and see if anyone else wants to join you during that time, feel free to request it and we can add that to the list. Okay. All right. So as far as the sounds, just encourage everyone who hasn't already to download that PowerPoint and just set aside some time during the week to listen and practice and just repeat it. And then try to record your voice like Dane showed us and listen back and compare it and see how well you can pronounce the sounds.
There's a term for that when you're doing that in when language teaching, and it's just called shadowing. So this is just a real simple version of what's called shadowing, and it is part of language learning. So if you're going to be a language teacher, it's good to actually know some of these teaching or these learning styles of learning language, and shadowing is a good one. You can look it up on YouTube. What is shadowing? Because it gets a little bit more, there's a little bit more to it. If you're listening to stories and trying to say what people are saying, that's a good term. There's some good terminology in language learning that you want to do, and you might want to look at watch a YouTube video on it because they're pretty easy to find. So shadowing is a good one to look up. Oh, well.
Awesome. And Dane, if you have some recommended videos on shadowing, feel free to drop those links in the chat, or I can we can email them out to the group after. Awesome. All right, so the next thing on our agenda, let me share my screen really quick so we can look at the agenda again. So we did this. And so the next thing on our agenda is our Kiowa pedagogy discussion. And so some of you may have heard that term before. If anyone hasn't, I just wanted to see, like, does everyone understand what that fancy word means? Pedagogy.
Can you explain that? I mean, because I kind of, but I'm not really grasping it,
Yeah. So this is another one of those terms that's useful if you're going to be a teacher or you work with students or even with your own children or grandchildren. So pedagogy is, I like to think about it as it's the intersection between the curriculum or the lesson that you're teaching and the instruction. So it's kind of where the curriculum and instruction intersect. And pedagogy is all about kind of like your teaching toolkit. It's about the strategies that you use. It's about techniques that you use to work with your students or your learners. And it's about the ways that you make the curriculum or the lesson plan, you make that activity come alive for your students. And so I like to think of pedagogy as like the way that you teach things to your students. And so in this context, you know, we're all learning Kiowa, and many of us were learning Kiowa as a second language. And so when we're thinking about teaching Kiowa, no matter what age group you're working with, it's important to think about what does it mean to teach Kiowa from a Kiowa perspective, and how can we kind of think about reclaiming and revitalizing some of our historical and traditional Kiowa ways of knowing, our Kiowa ways of teaching and learning, as we teach Kiowa language to the students that we work with, whether they're children or adults. So pedagogy, in short, is basically the intersection between curriculum and instruction. And it's the ways that a teacher enacts the curriculum, or it's the ways that a teacher makes the curriculum or the lesson come to life for the students, so that the students can make connections with whatever it is that you're teaching. So to me, that's what pedagogy means. But I know there are a few teachers here in the room with us. So I just wanted to see if, Dane, if you'd like to share your thoughts on what pedagogy means to you, specifically Kiowa pedagogy. Oh, you're muted.
Can you say the question one more time?
So what, in your experience in working with a classroom of students, what does Kiowa pedagogy mean? So how do you make your lesson that you're teaching come alive with your students? What are the strategies, specifically things that represent our Kiowa ways of knowing, in the way we teach students?
Okay, going with just pedagogy itself, I can think of it, just simply think of it as just a way of learning. When it comes to a Kiowa way of learning, it's for me, of course, when I'm doing it, I'm trying to listen to what all of our elder mentors, those who are with us here in this group, those who are around, and even listening to the old recordings of people talking back in the day. What is it that they want? How do they want it taught? What subjects do our Kiowa speakers find important? And how do I add that into how do I add that into my classes? And always being mindful of how do people who are Kiowa, who grew up in Kiowa speaking homes, what do they want to see? And so how I'm going about it right now in my classes, I do a pretty strong I really try to go after conversational Kiowa when I can. Now I noticed that during my classes and kind of limited hours and limited time with them, you know, I'm trying to see how far can you go in a certain amount of hours, and how long does it take for somebody to pick up certain pieces of Kiowa. So I kind of pick the ones where I find most important. What phrases do I find most important? And I think the biggest thing what I try to do with these is try not to make it too Englishy. So I think that's my biggest focus right there is don't make these things too English. You know, don't say stuff like what is it? Good morning as a greeting, because that's something that you do in English, and you can say that in Spanish, but it's in the good morning as a greeting, like a hello. You know, there's stuff like that that doesn't exist. So you got to really think about things like that. How do Kiowa people actually talk to each other? How do they start out? How do you start talking to somebody in Kiowa? And it is going to be really different than what you would learn in English and what you would learn in a Spanish class. And that's just kind of the way it is. Just kind of learning about okay, how do actual Kiowa people interact with each other when they're talking in Kiowa, because it is different than how we normally do in English. So not everything's going to fit exact. So try to give those things like what are proper greetings, or what are some good greetings that'll get good responses whenever you're talking to somebody who knows Kiowa, who's going to how are they going to respond, and then making sure it doesn't sound kind of off. And if it does sound off, then we can then try to make those corrections to it. Because I know I've had some stuff in the past that didn't sound quite right, but as soon as we got into a group and everybody who was a mentor was in there, got to say what they how they felt about that certain phrasing, then I can just easily change it. Or sometimes I just hear it from other candidates as like, hey, this the way the response to this question does it sound quite right? But they did say this one sounds better. So if we can do it like that to where it sounds like good Kiowa and not like English Kiowa, that's always the best way to go about it.
Oh, good.
Oh,
One of the things I'd like to add to that is like the pedagogy example is when we very first outreach that we had, we did little conversations, trying to stay in Kiowa for a little bit. And one of the things was shaking hands, but in Kiowa way, we got dinged on that, and Miss Helen was like, women don't do that. So that's an idea of teaching a class, and a Kiowa way is a woman isn't going to go up and shake a guy's hand like that. So anyway, that's what I was thinking of.
It's wherever you lived. I shake hands. It's according how old they are. You've got to look at all deals of it. When I greeted the tribe from Meskwaki, I shook their hands because they were younger than me.
Oh. Do you remember that, Grandma Dorothy, when Miss Helen told us that I couldn't shake hands?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's a good example of kind of how, as a teacher, you want to kind of pay attention to who your learners are and who your students are, and then pay attention to like making sure that whatever you're teaching really represents our Kiowa perspective, going on, make sure that things are, I like to think of it as when I would work with my teachers is we want to see the world through our Kiowa eyes. So you have to kind of like take off your English brain, turn off your English brain and turn your Kiowa brain on and see the world through the Kiowa eyes. And sometimes it means like going back and rewriting things and rephrasing things like Dane said, and really thinking about what it is specifically you want to accomplish. So I wanted to hear from our mentors. We have about 15 minutes before we transition to practice. So I'd love to hear if we can go to each of our mentors and just hear from you, like what are some things that a teacher should keep in mind when we're thinking about teaching Kiowa to students? Or how would you want us to teach Kiowa, especially making sure that we're staying true to who we are and making sure that we're staying true to our Goi Ho'o, our Kiowa ways. So we'll start, I'll just go with who I see on the screen first. Grandma Dorothy, did you want to start if you have anything you'd like to share on that?
I grew up, the way the Kiowa youngsters referred to it is real Indian, but I grew up in a non-English speaking household. My dad was a respectful man. Somebody drove up, one of the boys would go to the door. It was after dark. I'd say, get off, way baso. This is the real Indian if Grandma was there. I don't know what way meant, but it says get off, like they're emulating saying get off your horse. Everything Kiowa, the first conversation was made like you were still in the horse days. There's Kiowa, there's new Kiowa, and there's old Kiowa. And I suffer from that because, as Miss Harrogera said one time, we know nothing about vowels and verbs or nothing. She said, I just taught Kiowa. And I do too. And we grew up in that. Gorgu get taught it. Kiowas are kind. They're nice. Godo taught it. They're really nice. First thing that come in, the older people would say, they wouldn't say, did you eat? Mesa. They'd run with the coffee and stuff. Good, kind ways. And that's the environment we grew up in. And life got faster later. And now I don't blame you. Your generation, it's a hard road to learn that. Doubly hard. And I commend y'all all for going as far as you have, because Kiowa was the hardest language to learn. And it has all those sounds and the different things, but one little expression can mean 3 different things. You know, and when you catch that, you're a Kiowa talker. It takes time, but you'll all catch it. You'll get it because you were meant to, all of you, or you wouldn't be interested. And I'm grateful for that. And like I told Melody last week, I'll help anywhere I can in the future, because it's kind of in a chaos right now. But stay, Donna. It's really good that you're here. Richie, that's the only new name I see on there. Aho, and son, you come from good people. I'm glad all of you are here. You'll be talking Kiowa. Obaha.
Oh, thank you, Grandma.
Oh, love you. In Petaldo.
Awesome. Let's see, the next name I see is Grandma D. Grandma D, would you like to share your perspective on the way that we should teach Kiowa?
Well, it's just like Dorothy reminded me. I know when I was asked if I wanted to be a part of this, I said I do not read Kiowa and I do not write Kiowa and I do not intend to learn because I'm too late. And so I just heard it. I learned it by hearing it, just like Dorothy said, we spoke Kiowa in our home. I do not know how I learned, but I did. And so, and then when it comes to teaching pedagogy and all that, I didn't take any of those courses when I was here, when I was in school. I didn't have one education course. I was in library science, and when I went to Sequoia, then I had to go back and take education courses. So I'm not really a teacher as such, because I'm not a very patient person. I just rather, if I don't teach anybody, I just show them. And library science is a good place for me, because I don't have to know everything. I just show you where to go and find what you are looking for and what you need to know. So that's kind of the way it is with Kiowa, and where I am now. And it's very important to me that you sound like a Kiowa. And so I think you'll find me correcting you. And like I said before, that's the way I learned Kiowa. And I'm always, what shall I say? Kind of amused, but not really, how difficult it is for you to learn Kiowa everybody, when it comes to verbs and nouns and pronouns, whatever, you have charts and you're flipping them and you're looking. I hear all this shuffling of papers going on. And that's always kind of amusing to me because but on the other hand, that tells me that your determination that you have to do that, make sure you got the right page or whatever. And so that tells me that you're very, very dedicated and you want to learn. So I appreciate that. And then, so that's all I have to say is that I'll be glad to help you. And then we don't know everything in Kiowa. And my only good point is to be 93 years old and I have a long-term memory. And I don't remember what I did 15 minutes ago or why I'm in the room. However, I can remember way back. And then that's how words and phrases come back to me. And that's the only reason that I'm able to help you, is I do have a long-term memory. And I remember words and phrases and what they mean. And so that's all I have to say. I'm always glad to help you. Call me anytime and I'll help you if I can. I have to dig sometimes, remember, and then we all call one another. I'll call Martha and Dorothy and different ones and Brenda, whatever. We all help one another. We have to in order to be able to help you. So it takes all of us mentors to teach you. We don't all know it. We don't know it all. And I appreciate the volunteers that we have on talking about, all of us are really volunteers. We were asked we want to do it. So I was glad to do that because I've helped here in the Norman area for, I guess, 15 years at least. So I don't mind. And it's a lot of fun to hear you make mistakes, for us to make mistakes. And then if you make a mistake, you'll remember. Okay. So I appreciate all of you, especially Dane and his grandmother. They have full-time jobs, but they still get on with us because that's how much Kiowa means to us. It's very important. It's very important to know who you are, and you can't be who you are if you don't know your language. So I'm thankful for all of you. Omaha.
Oh, aho, Grandma Dee.
Thank you very much. Aho.
Awesome. Very, very helpful. Let's see the next mentor I see. Grandma Martha now, would you like to share any thoughts that you have on the ways that we should teach Kiowa?
Okay. Yeah, the main thing is we should teach Kiowa the way Kiowa is and not try to add on or change something or go with what the thinking is around you. I learned as a youth to speak the language, and when that was happening, I didn't even know I was learning it. It was just a natural thing. I mean, you took it for granted. I mean, because you were around it and you heard your family speaking. At the same time, I was lucky that I was learning English also as a child. So the two of the things went together, and I think when you have an elder in your family at that time, that was my grandmother, and she did not speak English. So the whole family had to be speaking Kiowa to be able to be in conversation with each other and know what's going on. You didn't want to get left out if they were going to head to town and and you didn't know the language, and there you'd be sitting there at home with somebody. So you gotta have to stay up with them. But when you get into school like I did, I think you kind of tend to stopped thinking so much about that language, and you still knew it. You could understand people speaking around you, but sometimes it can kind of worry you because it's like, what if somebody got in conversation with me? Could I make those words together to continue that conversation? So for that reason, I was always listening to an elder or somebody that anybody was talking. I always be there trying to hear what they had to say and everything. And I'm kind of like you, Melody. My throat is just crazy. It's been like that all weekend.
I know it.
Must be allergies. So I hope you can hear me. Anyway, now currently, I want to just say too that my husband being in the military, we moved around a lot. And a lot of times we were gone for years away from the Kiowa language. I was the only one that knew it. My husband didn't speak it, neither did my children. So consequently, when we came back, it kind of worried me because I thought, maybe I just forgot it and I won't ever be able to get into it. But you can by listening to people speak at different events. Like if you went to a dance or you went to church or wherever, you're going to hear these Kiowa words. And if you put your thinking into it, it will come back to you slowly, maybe, but you will get it back. And so I was kind of happy that it did come back and didn't really lose it. So in that sense, I like sharing it. I like sharing it with other people if they're interested and they do have questions. I don't like to sit and talk with them. And my life now, after I retired and I'm teaching the classes at OU, I'm always happy because I'm at the third level now of teaching. It's more conversation than anything. I still have students that cannot remember some things, so we'll stop and go over those, and so we can get back into a conversation. But I will have to say the previous classes they take before they get to me do so well with them that it makes, my classes go smooth. And by the time the end of the year comes and they're out of there, they're pretty happy with what they've learned. And I see them around town and they'll be speaking to me. Someone will say, "Hey, Miss Pula, how for you?" So I know that's one of my students, even though I can't see them sometimes, I'm looking around for them. So that's always kind of neat to know. What I try to do when I'm teaching the language is kind of make word connections to help the students understand. Because like I said earlier, when you speak Kiowa, you're kind of in that mode. You're speaking Kiowa like you learned it and the way you know it. Sometimes I get asked questions about how do you say this phrase, and they're asking me in English. And a lot of times you cannot put it back to them the way they want to hear it, because it's just not the way that our language is structured. So I'll kind of explain that to them too, and they're okay with that. Okay. And I just kind of try to make it as easy as I can for them to learn. We start slow in the beginning of a semester, but by the middle part, they're doing pretty well. And by the end of that semester, they usually do very well. So I'm happy about that. Another thing I do is I share our culture right along with teaching the language, because I think the more they know about us, the more interested they will be in the words of the language. And then they do start asking questions. They want to kind of know what the difference is and maybe their lifestyle and the way ours is. So that makes it fun because you are doing several things with people that you're teaching. And I don't know when I will stop teaching, but if I ever should, I would just like to be able to tutor some of these people, just work with them and keep them going in their classes. And that's all I have to say.
It's good. Like over the weekend, they were honoring one of our greatest heroes, and Martha and Kokum's granddaughter, the pharmacist, and Amy, they were standing there. And I told one of the girls, "Help me out there." I was asked to come and stand by him. So I go out there and then I whispered to Martha, I said, how did I say? I'm not just coming out here to stand by. I'm not trying to be fake. I'm kin to you.
That's true.
And people probably thought I was just going around standing with anybody.
That was funny, Dorothy, because when I thought about it, I thought, she's from the White Horse family, and Amy is married in the Samant family, and the
Yeah.
Pua. Those are the three families that are related. They're close,
But there's the whole Kiowa word. What I say? Hande ohot. Ohot was when you have a false sense of grandeur and you kind of build yourself up. And I wasn't doing that. I went with moral support because I knew Pascal and we are kin, and I got tickled because I've been people that I thought I was just going around getting points.
No, there was a kinship there.
But those kind of words are funny. What I'm getting at is when you talk to another speaker and they know what you're talking about, it's funny. There's nothing like Kiowa humor.
Right.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm not trying to be somebody. Kiowas are humble.
Oh, that's
Y'all get the
awesome.
humor? My girls can't get any kind of Kiowa humor when someone laughs about something. My husband especially could not think something was funny when I explained it. And I'd just be busting my gut laughing. But people just don't understand. When you understand Kiowa humor, then that's when you're a speaker. It's fun.
Oh, that's our goal, to be able to laugh at the jokes.
Or you'd say, "Hot de la dog. Who do I think I am?" You know, the humor is that you yourself.
Oh,
Hot de la dog.
hot dog.
Yeah, because I had a black leggings blanket and I had a War Mother's blanket. And I said, "It looks like I'm showing off. I better keep them." You know, you're real subtle about things like that, or your grandma would probably knock you out from the
Hot potato. Oh, God.
hot de la dog.
Hot dog.
I
You gotta
act like
put that in the chat, Melody.
Jane, would you be able to write that in the chat for us?
Hall.
Oh, Grandma Martha. Oh, Grandma Dorothy.
or then sometime I call myself Sapulma. I call myself that, but nobody else dare to call me that. You know, I can call myself Sapulma or Zemte, but don't nobody else try that. And don't try calling other people that. And unless they're really tearing it. Y'all get me?
Oh,
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 over here cracking up because I can Phyllis you every time she does some sapoma, she just gets mad at herself, and that's one of the words she would say when I was a kid, and I was just, she never really explained it to me, but you did. Oh,
And the grandmas
Awesome.
could sit there and look at somebody that's showing out. And I've heard my grandma say, not Kiowa women, but she, say Sapulma.
It is.
If some other off-tribe woman, but she wouldn't say that to a Kiowa. Deal. And I love that. And it's going away.
oh,
That part.
that's good. Good to know. Let's see. So we want to transition to practicing for the rest of our time. But I just wanted to see if any of our other mentors, we have Miss Marion, Miss Velma, and Miss Brenda, if any of you would like to add anything to our Kiowa teaching discussion. And we'll have time next week also, but just wanted to make sure you had a chance.
Melody, can you hear me?
Oh, Hyundai.
Just to add on to what Dorothy, Dolores, and Martha said, to me, listening and observing, because what the way I grew up, you know, I watched and I listened, and I learned a lot through the stories. My grandpa and grandma used to tell stories and, you know, speak Kiowa, and, you know, make sure like if we understood what, you know, the words, or the moral that's being taught. And then with the beadwork, like my grandmother did beadwork, and so I learned from her. And as she would bead, she would explain it, you know, in Kiowa, to, you know, like in simple Kiowa words. And then as I got older and, you know, the more complicated, then, you know, she would use a different, you know, Kiowa, but it was a modeling, you know, and on my part, listening and observing, and then actually doing it, you know, practice or beading. And then my grandmother, you know, watching and then explaining, this is, you know, just go this way or that way, or this color, or this is how this design is, you know. And even others, like she would tan hide, and then she made a lot of Kiowa men's moccasins, and so a lot of that, you know, and even like canning, she used to can plums, peaches, everything, and then you know, and explaining that in Kiowa. So that a lot of listening and observing, I think, has a lot to do with not only just the language learning, but just learning in general. So I just wanted to add that. And like with math, you know, you can teach math through some of the things I did when I was a teacher, and I taught like big beginners, which is like kindergarten, these Navajo kids, and none of them spoke English, and I didn't speak Navajo. But anyway, with math, I did like loom work, and then learned to do like their basket making and teaching math through beadwork, through art and music. So, you know, language can be learned, you know, with all of our senses. So, and I think that's the Kiowa way of learning it. And that's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Ivana.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Bowman.
This is Brenda. Just a little add-on in agreement with what Velma said, being in the school and every day dealing with young people. And they're getting younger every year. Because I guess maybe I'm getting older, but sorry. Trying to mute this TV. And it's not working. What I find most of all is that I don't know near what I want to know. I'm always learning, and I'm so grateful, so thankful for the opportunity to be able to do this. And I don't feel like I'm at all the teacher that I want to be. Not there yet. I don't know if I ever will be, but I am grateful because I've heard Kiowa since probably before I was born, from all around me. I remember prayer meetings, and I remember songs. And so when I relate it to the students, I'm like the way that Velma says, that you teach them through songs and through stories. And I know that I'm not as proficient as I need to be and want to be, but I know that if I keep going with your encouragement, then I'll reach a good place. So I thank you for the opportunity to be with you. Aho, Obaha.
Thank you, Brenda. Love you.
Oh, aho.
Aho, aho.
Awesome. So you may have seen a little breakout room thing pop up on your screen. Excuse me. Dane, can you explain how to join the breakout rooms? Because my voice is leaving. Oh, you're muted.
I know from a laptop and a computer, if you go to the bottom, or sometimes it's at the top, wherever it says screen share, chat, participants, wherever it says if it's on top of your screen or bottom of your screen. I don't know what just happened. Mine just messed up. There's one that says breakout rooms. Sometimes it's in the tab that says more. So it says mute, stop video, security, participants, chat, share screen, reactions, but there's a little tab that says more, little 3 dots on it, and it'll have breakout rooms. But for some people, they might just have breakout rooms and it might just show on the bar at the bottom. Sometimes at the top, it just depends on what you're using. And you can go into breakout rooms, and when you go there, you'll see the names of them. There's the evaluation room for anybody who's trying to get one of those smaller evaluations out of the way. There's the Kiowa help phrases for anybody who's trying to get used to those. That's the help phrases. They're just ways to get around in Kiowa without having to switch as much to English. And they really help along the way, especially on the evaluations. They can get you through an evaluation much quicker if you know how to use those. And they can kind of get you out of stuff when you kind of blank out and you forget a word or something. They can kind of help out with that. Kiowa sounds pronunciation. It's what we talked about. We can just go more in depth within there. And then nouns, pronouns, verbs. One of the more involved parts of the credentialing, but they've been doing a lot of practices in there. Sometimes I stop in there, and everybody who's already gone through them, they're moving on. Some of them are moving on to the level 2. So they're also helping people who are trying to get the level 1 for the grammar portion, which is just simply nouns, pronouns, verbs, that kind of stuff. So you can join any of those. There'll be people in there. If you're in there by yourself, I might just jump in there and just start helping you on whatever that is. So if you end up there by yourself, but you can join any one of those and work on any one of those, or you can stay out here and you can get a lot of translations and learn a lot of stuff out here. So you can just stay out in this room as well.
Oh, thank you, Dane. All right, so if you decide to stay in the main room, we're gonna look at the Kiowa prayer, Dombaide, touch the earth, and kind of start with how to say it, how to pronounce it. So feel free to jump into the breakout room that you would like to work on. And if you need to do a part of your evaluation, feel free to do that as well. So we'll give everyone a minute, and then what I'll do is at 8:30, I'll send a message to everyone in the breakout rooms, and it'll give you about a 2-minute warning, and then it'll close the breakout rooms, and we'll come back here into the main room, and we'll do our closing prayer, and we'll wrap up. So have fun for those of you who are going to jump into the rooms.
How?
It is 8:17. So we have about 15 minutes to practice.
Where's Marion inside?
Marion, you look nice in that. Did she want to talk?
Miss Marion, we saw you for a minute, but we can't see you anymore.
Okay.
We want to look at you in your red hat.
We want to admire your style.
It's just my cover up. I mean,
Yeah.
It
But
looks
she
good.
wore those when they were not worn.
When only the French wore them.
I like them.
And who got wet last weekend?
Uh-oh.
On Saturday.
Yeah. Some people were covering up with those. They tried to put a plastic something on me. I couldn't stand it. And I said, boy, we used to get hit on the knees. To say, these guys fought out in the trenches all over.
What does a pair of moccasins or leggings mean? So that's what you're doing, and kind of see ahead of time and take a old pair of moccasins. Because it hurts to lose those beautiful white. But I persevered. I thought
Just wear tennis shoes. Tennis shoes.
some had cowboy boots and fishing boots and all kind of tokini.
Mm.
Tokini is boots.
They got creative, huh, Grandma?
Uh-huh. Now, Ego Melody, I go to Okonda. Okon means when you're hoarse.
Oh,
Mm.
Okonda.
oh, Conda.
And says that's what's wrong with you now. From
Can't hear me.
I got that thought a few times. I was so cold, I never thought the cold would ever go out of my hands.
Oh, you need those hand warmers.
I couldn't even hold a fan. And I said, it won't hurt your fan. Those eagles fly they fly in the rain.
Oh, they get rained on. Awesome.
Every year I go through the virtues against the getting your regalia wet. Because it rains every time we do that. It's testing us.
Huh. Rain or shine. Huh. Awesome. Let's see. So can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
All right. So this is the prayer that we wanted to look at. And this is a Kiowa prayer, and it's written in Kiowa. It was first written by Dr. Parker McKenzie, and he wrote it in his original McKenzie orthography. And then a few years ago, Dane transcribed it into the modified McKenzie orthography. And the only thing is this has not been translated. And so something that's very unique about this prayer is this is at least a rendition from Parker McKenzie as far as what a Kiowa prayer sounded like pre-Christianity, before the missionaries. So this is a historical kind of traditional way of Kiowa praying, is what Parker McKenzie was intending to.
Dombe dog. It's a prayer, and it's also one of the verses in a ghost dance song. So that was used all over. Dog am tode. Don't get you. Take my words. I'm just saying, I got my eyes closed. Don't get.
Yeah.
We're leaving our words with you.
Mhm.
And that is the first verse too of a ghost dance. And Dombe Yidi, Yidi,
Eat.
touch the earth, touch the land. Dombe Yidi. And it doesn't mean to dance, it means touch. It's just how you use it with your expression. Dombe Yidi.
Don't
Touch the
be.
earth.
Like everyone touch the earth.
Because if I wasn't watching, I'd be reading it wrong.
Eat.
Martha, doesn't it sound like that? Like two things, if you read it different.
Well, when I just see that, those three words up there, Dombe Yide, it's like it could just be talking to one person. It could be took on everyone like you have it there. It could be either way. It's understood.
Yeah.
Mhm. You touch the earth or everyone touch the earth.
It's used so pretty. So
Oh,
pretty.
it's beautiful.
I
Could-
think it sounds like he's saying for God to touch the earth. Don't be touch the earth. So it could be, that's what it means to me, because it's a prayer.
I will have to commend Timothy Yeager on his prayers lately.
Doing good on them.
Thank y'all for teaching him. He's can be called on.
That's awesome. Excuse me. Let's see here. All right, so let's see. I know we went over this last week, I think, but could let's see, who do we have? We have Grandma Dorothy, Miss Marion, Grandma Martha, Miss Velma, and Miss Brenda. Would each of our mentors, would you be able to, at least to the best of your ability, say this for us? And we'll start, Grandma Dorothy, could you say this first line?
Go ahead, y'all, one of you.
Oh,
Or Grandma Martha, do you want to start it off? Because I think
okay.
you're probably the most familiar with the modified Mackenzie.
Yeah. Dom oyom dog e pan mind all day.
Perfect.
Oh,
Marty, that's you, huh?
Yes.
Perfect. But yeah.
Oyom dog e pan mind all day.
Grandma Dorothy, do you want to say it for us?
Damoyam dog panma in tode. If you use it like she did, if you say it a little bit off, you're saying it's just you live in the clouds. It's where you stay. But if you say it a little section off, you're saying stay in the clouds. So that little change in the pronouncing it makes it completely two different things.
Oh, Miss Marion, would you like to pronounce it for us?
Don't oi. Dog e aim tode. Dom oi. He means creator. Dog e. That's our God. Ain't tode. He's there up in the heavens. Our God is there in the heavens. That's what it means to me.
Oh,
Panma, left out the word Panma. I'm sorry. Panma in Todd. Panma's up in the heavens. Domoy. I'm doggy. Panma in Todd. Yeah. Okay.
oh,
And the Lord's Prayer is our Father. No, though. And then we started just the same way in the English language. Panmaim Todi, our Father who art in heaven. Isn't that something?
That's where he is. Where he is. He's in the heavens. And then also pun means like, clouds, heaven.
oh. Awesome. let's see, Miss Velma, would you like to pronounce it for us?
Dom oyom doggy panma em tode.
Oh. Miss Brenda, if you're able.
Okay. I'm gonna try it and tell me if I say it right, please. Dom oyam doggy hanma emptade.
Ooh, that's a pretty start to a prayer.
Oh,
Basically, you're saying, Our Father who art in heaven.
That's it.
yeah. Oh, let's
Oh.
see. Learners, do we want to try to pronounce it? I'm gonna take turns really quick. I'll start and then we'll go down the line of who I see next. Domoyom daki pan mind ade.
Beautiful.
Good.
Courtney, I see you next.
I am doggy panma emptade.
Beautiful.
Oh, Kathy, I see you next.
I have my son and daughter-in-law here real quick. I'm trying to get them out and I didn't get to hear that because I'm packing their supper. So
That's okay. That's all good. We got the recording so we could practice
okay.
because we'll be working on this. It's a long prayer, so you can see it. It goes all the way down here. So we got a long ways to go, but you know, it's a start.
Right. I get to hear it. The first one I didn't get to hear. Is that oi?
Here, Grandma Martha, would you
It's
like to
okay.
pronounce it?
The first part is Dom oyom doggy. Is that first word?
Doggy.
Pon mind all day.
On my oh the
All day.
oh day
Pop tea. Yeah, pop tea. All day.
all day.
Oh, so maybe we can practice saying this to ourselves over the week and to see if see how we sound. I'll post the recording tomorrow so that way you can access it.
For mom and dad's 60th.
All right, awesome. Let's see. Okay, Stephen, I see you.
Dom oyam daki panma emptade.
Oh, pop tea. Oh, all day.
Dom oyam daki panma emptade.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah, better.
Wow, who said?
That's Ade Kio Boyda.
Oh. I hope.
Awesome. Did everyone get a chance? Sure. All right. Well, it's 8:33 on my clock, so I better stop sharing and I need to send a message to the breakout rooms so that we can call them back together.
Now, so I had to do real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead, Kathy.
Wait a minute. Was it something inside off. Oh shoot. Anyway.
Hyundai inside.
Hyundai inside. So I have this greeting, and I know Dane was helping me with it when I first, when I'm on the radio, right? So I'm saying, and I want to just make sure I'm saying this right. Hyundai on Batsan. And that's kind of like what he told me, to say. Is that, and I'm saying that to all the people. Is that how that is?
You could also say something like, it sounds okay, but there's a Hyundai on the bottom ta. Tata. Hyundai on the bottom tata. It is good that I'm able to talk to you. The other one says it's good you're able to come. I'm glad you came. So technically that's what you're doing anyway on the radio.
Huh.
Grandma
So-
Dorothy, can you say that one more time? It's good to talk to you, or you came to talk. Hyundai onde.
We're saying Hyundai on the bottom ta. It's good that I'm able to talk to you.
Hyundai onde ba don ba.
Yes. Sound okay, Martha, all of you? Brenda, Dolores, any kind of side?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Hyundai
Yeah.
but don't
Huh.
Oh.
And if you want to get,
Oh,
if you want to bring us good tidings, you could say,
Hyundai.
Hyundai onde bakoy tonto.
Let me try this one first.
I'm glad
You
I'm
better
talking
go
to you. I'm
simple.
happy I'm talking Kiowa to you.
Oh. How was that
You
again?
better go simple.
Go ahead, Martha Marion. Go.
Yeah, Marion.
Onde.
Bakoy tonto.
Ba. Koi.
Don't.
Donda.
Oh, boy. Don't stop.
Donda. It's TOD. I mean TD.
And let me see, Dane, is there any way you'd be able to type that in the chat for us? You're better at the diacritic marks than I am.
Which part do you need me to?
So they're trying to say Hyundai onde ba don da is like it's good that I'm able to talk to you. And then but Grandma Dorothy just said if you're talking in Kiowa, you could say Hyundai onde ba koi don da. Is that right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Hyundai onde bakoy tonto.
Onde ba koi
Only with boy. Don't.
Gonda.
Only if you're speaking. If you're speaking Kiowa, you can say that. But if you're not, you just
Right. I'm
say,
just doing an introduction, or just like a little saying.
So then you would say probably the first one, the Hyundai onde ba don da. Is it da or da at the end?
Oh.
Da. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Wasn't long enough.
I know next time we'll have more time. Kathy, do you want to practice saying and get some feedback on that phrase?
Hyundai onde ba donda. Da.
It
Hyundai
sounds
onde ba don da.
Don't.
Nasalize it, and then
Oh,
at the end it's a TD. It's combined.
I didn't see the way you spelled it there. I got it. I'm spelling it like TONE. Don't. No.
don't.
Don't.
Don't,
TON.
like talking. Don't.
D-O-N.
Nasalize at the end.
And silent on the end. And then do. TD8W or AU.
Ha.
Yeah, you.
Okay.
Yo, look at Cricket. She got a scary face on. Yo.
Yo. Oh, I thought it was a filter.
I know. I was like, what
That's like
filter
a
is
neat
that?
filter.
Yikes. Uh-oh.
Oh,
What the
On
hell are you
day.
saying?
Ba. Oh, ba. Oi, don't.
Who's that, Allison?
Is that
That's Michael Myers. No, that's just kidding. That's Josh.
Aw, you scared me.
Me too.
day on
Grandma
day?
about to,
Let me show
Grandma
you.
about to turn you off. You got
Good. Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders. Whoa, we got all kinds of scary guys here.
And
Don't.
what you're saying is, I'm just so glad to talk to you.
Duh.
One day on the book, but don't talk. That's if you wanna
Aho.
just-
Oh,
wonderful to speak Kiowa to you.
On day, but goy, don't. Duh.
Wonderful
And,
to be able to speak
Don't.
Kiowa to you.
Don't. Okay. Ha, aho.
yay. Can't wait to hear it, Kathy. Your debut. Awesome.
I've
I
been
think
saying
everyone,
the Hyundai on day Batsan. Been saying that one, but I don't know. I just wanted to make sure I was saying it even right because I'm on the radio by myself and I crack myself up. So, you know.
I hate to keep adding, but when you're saying, I'm glad I seen you, he would say, onde babon,
Babone.
babon.
Babone.
Mhm.
Babone.
All of you.
All right, you're gonna have me
I'm glad
all-
I, onde babon. It's, I'm glad I seen y'all.
Okay. I'll try it. Watch this. I'll probably get on there and screw it all up.
you got this. You got this. Awesome.
Just record it on your phone and then
I
keep
know it.
repeating it.
Well, I do, and I'm trying to do that.
Yeah, that's the easiest way.
And then you can also reach out to any of us if you need to run something by one of us.
They're just not.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get that out first, and then I get the ending, you know. And then that's it for now.
Oh, awesome.
All right. I gotta
Well,
get, no, I appreciate all.
I had one chance over the weekend to say my favorite word before I shut up. Connie, that photographer that was on his stomach in front of me. And I said, Connie, that's how would you say that, you mentors? What does that mean? Connie. When you're really going overboard, maybe you're dancing too hard or something. Connie.
Cool. Almost like, look at that. That's right.
I said, cool.
It's like, that's right.
cool.
Or when somebody will say, someone will point out and say, well, look at that. Who is that? What is that? Name. It's like a exaggeration.
And I would put in my last plea to all Kiowas. Please pull your trousers up when you're in public.
Yo,
I had to turn off
That's for
the
the
dedication
men.
or the
That's for
meal
the
at
men.
Red Buffalo. I mean, that AOA, I was watching it on Facebook. And there was some younger gentleman sitting there at a round table. And people see things like that. What's your, on our own time, when I see Kiowas, it's a good weekend. Good purple weekend.
oh, awesome. Well, I just wanted to
That-
say, aho de batha, thank you to all of you for joining our initial inaugural Learn Kiowa session. We'll figure it out together. So I'm really excited to see everyone. And if anyone has any ideas or suggestions, just let me know. And you have the schedule, you have the syllabus. So next week we'll be talking about help phrases. Dane kind of mentioned them. So we're going to go into the Kiowa help phrases and practice those. And then we're going to continue looking at our prayer in the main room. So, Hyundai.
What's the Indian population at the school compared to Anadarko percentage wise?
Very low. At Weatherford, I think there's about 340 students that are native in JOM. And the population of students, it's like twice the size of Anadarko.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, kind of low, but yeah, we're trying to start a Native American club for the students at Weatherford because there's quite a few of them. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Okay, well, we better wrap up.
Is that where your kids go to school, Melody?
Yeah, they go to Weatherford.
Are they Sakota and how do you say Arapaho? I yelled out. What is no? That's Medicine Lodge. How do you say Arapaho, y'all? Real quick. Ayata. Yeah. And then Sakota. How many Koigu?
There's about 3 families of Koigu, so there's about 15 Kiowa students. So, not bad, but mostly CNAs.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's a good learning experience for all of them.
I'm glad it's Weatherford because I got thrown out of Clinton. The whole school did, Riverside.
Oh no. Well, I just want to say aho de batha for everyone for joining, and to close us up, Courtney, big outside.
Bedatsai. Dark E. Dark A. Bega dark A. Dom I am dark E. Kionde dark aho. Ma onde anget ta ama. A ka Da aunt o tang.
Oh.
Hate a be dark zai. Dark E. On the title day. Get date later. Aho dark E. Over her.
Oh.
Oh. Thank you, Courtney.
Aho.
Hey, Gaba, oi.
Thank you.
They got him oi bon though.
Hey, Gaba, oi, don't tie.
Cricket.
She used the old
Cricket still
Kiowa
on there?
expression.
Hi,
The ontota.
I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you after the meeting, okay? Just real quick.
Okay. Hey,
And
bye.
you don't even have to put me down because they don't count us anymore in cricket.
Yeah. You don't have to we don't have to take roll call. We don't have to be graded.
Was the old saying that she said?
I'm giving you 2 words that she used, and it says, take pity on us. The ontota.
On.
Forgive us.
A call on the ontota. It means we're poor. We're poor. It means spiritual. The call on take pity. The ontota.
The ontota is forgive us.
Yeah, or whatever, but it means just the way I said it. The ontota. That's how they used it in the prayer sequence.
Aho.
And you
Oh,
used the old word. Thank you.
They on to Tom.
awesome.
It comes as the on the corn. And
That's
that's in a Kiowa church song. It's very pretty.
Nice.
Hekababonta.
Oh,
Ikaw
hey, ba oy.
Oi, bonto.
Heka ba oe bonta.
Walking in